they maintain possession of this ball, they would have gotten a try in, but really good patient build-up, but unfortunately a late mistake with that forward pass.
Yeah, I think Adrian, Zimbabwe giving too much respect to Botswana in this game.
Well, Botswana, showing good form, good skills there by Stefan Handuza, and he did really well in securing that ball. However, Scotty Jones then let himself down with the forward pass at the end.
But just less than 2 minutes to play in this first half contest between Zimbabwe and Botswana, a Southern African derby, and it is a derby by all means. 7-0, only one try separating the two, one converted try. It's Botswana with the possession. Can they make the opportunity? Yes, they can. A good break there and a good run towards the sticks. And it is Botswana's first try against Zimbabwe. And a good run there coming in from Hilton Mudariki. Just taking his time before places the ball on the grass. He's got to do it. Yep. 7-5 it is. Botswana just breaching and slicing that Zimbabwe defense this way.
Indeed, Herbert, a really good show of enterprising play by the Botswana team. They've been patient in their build-up. They've showed some good phases. However, when they got the chance to breach the Zimbabwe defense, they took it. And they've put this game into a tied situation with less than a minute to go. Really good effort by Botswana, given the fact that we expected Zimbabwe to be really all over them. Excellent running there. Pass did not go to hand, but he sized his man up and said, look, pinned his ears back, and Ramoraka Tefo, you mentioned him in the beginning of the game.
Absolutely.
Tefo going through and opening the score for Botswana.
For Botswana there, definitely one of the key men to watch in this side in blue. And that's a missed kick there.
Fundamental errors, Herbert, are going to hurt these teams.
One thing we've been talking about is most of these kickers want to kick right, and they're all right-footed. Technical application of the game.
Fundamental errors. Zimbabwe have been very conservative, as you said. Maybe they should change gears and step it up a bit to try and see how they can test the Botswanan defense.
Scotty Jones now on the right side. This is a down that is stolen by the Botswana side. Good play by the side in blue. I'm sure they're clapping that move in Gaborone. Went back, fell back. So still in possession. But this time it's Zimbabwe getting the benefit of the referee's call. And there will be a card.
Very unfortunate. Yeah, very unfortunate for the Botswana team. They're going to be under a lot of pressure. You cannot disrupt a penalty from being restarted. It's the final play of the half, and Zimbabwe with a man in extra was really Sonta. And Nelson Madida with a good step to nobody, but knocking the ball down.
It doesn't matter. It was a good step. 12-7 the score from Nelson Madida, and the unfortunate criminal sitting in the sin bin area for Botswana. But Madida did make sure that he crossed over the line to give Zimbabwe a 12-7 lead, as they're awaiting a Scotty Jones kick for the extras, which is good. So as we go into the break, Zimbabwe comfortably ahead.
Yeah, there is the play by Zimbabwe. Madida going through, he looks at his man and then says, let me step the air and dot the ball down. So, you know, if he's not too careful, he could pull a hamstring doing that.
Absolutely. I just want to say that. You don't see goose steps these days.
Well, Botswana will be really...
Well, halftime score, it's Zimbabwe 14, Botswana 7.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep? And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, You never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Well, we're back in Kampala for the Africa Cup 2017 Sevens Championship tournament that offers World Cup slots in terms of qualification, as well as slots for the World Sevens Series in Hong Kong, where teams will be fighting for course status in the 2017-2018 World Rugby Sevens Series Championship, as well as also the matter of the Commonwealth Games. There's a slot for teams towards the Commonwealth Games for the Commonwealth countries in this competition, so plenty to play for this weekend in Kampala. Just the Commonwealth Games will be in April next year at Gold Coast, Australia, from the 5th of April. So also a ticket being looked for in this tournament. You can also follow the action on our Facebook page, Kwesé, ESPN.com.
Botswana will be feel hard done by being behind in this half. They really showed a good account of themselves towards the end of that half versus Zimbabwe. And really that yellow card was quite tough for them to bear, and that extra 7 points that they've conceded. Let's see whether or not they can piece together 7 minutes of decent enough rugby, because I believe, given the show that Zimbabwe has done in the first half, Botswana does have a chance in this game.
Indeed, it's Zimbabwe looking for the opportunity close to their own defense line. So being put under pressure by Botswana. That's good line out there, good clean line out. They just need to get running and get it wide away. Botswana, good tackle there. Zimbabwe will keep the possession, but not releasing.
The guy got off his feet, and Botswana has a chance. I don't know if they're still down one man, but the way they've been playing, I would back them to take advantage of this opportunity. Unfortunately, losing the ball in the tackle there.
Zimbabwe stealing that ball there. Could have been hands in the rock there, but gone unnoticed by the referee. So Zimbabwe still will keep retention. Scotty Jones playing it wide. What a good defense play. Good organization in defense from Botswana. Much better than the game against the Senegal. And you can see the weather favoring them. This it's become a bit cooler now, Adrian.
Indeed, it's quite pleasant outside right now, and the teams are not under that midday heat that we were having a few minutes ago. Zimbabwe is still playing at a relatively pedestrian pace. I know they can play a lot faster than this, so I'm wondering what tactic this is, if they're conserving energy for the rest of the tournament. But I would expect a lot more from the Zimbabwe team.
Yeah, there's a lack of go forward.
Yep.
I mean, collecting standing passes amongst themselves, and you can see they're bunching up, not having any tactic. What I think they're lacking is a concise playmaker to actually get them going, and it's actually Botswana who are looking the better of the two sides at the moment. And possession still with the Zimbabwean side. But as you say, they need to get out of this pedestrian mode. The rankings are going to be very crucial. Points scored will be important.
Indeed, Herbert. Zimbabwe looks like they're trying to step it up. Scotty Jones there with the ball, and he has found a gap, and he's going all the way. So maybe they're playing a game of chess, because they really just tried to nip at the Botswanan defense, and finally it cracked. And Scotty Jones is strolling all the way to the end, and I believe this is a conserving energy effort, because really Zimbabwe has a lot more gears than they're showing right now.
Well, conserving themselves, and that's what probably is a strategy by the coach Donald Manjenje. Scotty Jones takes the kick himself, and with the 2 extra points makes it 21-7 for the Zimbabwean side.
Good hit there, and really setting up the defense. Scotty Jones in the end just cutting right back in, and the drift defense was unable to deal with the change of direction, and he was able to stroll to the try line.
And the beauty of rugby, you can play this game whatever size, whatever weight, whatever height. We've seen the diminutive players, Scotty Jones, Rob Lipschitz for the Zambian side, having a key effect in their games.
Indeed, the Sevens game traditionally has been for the swift and skillful players. The game has become significantly more physical in the present-day version of the game. However, every team needs a playmaker, a person who has got vision and can help direct the team around the park and exploit opportunities when they come through. And a lot of these smaller, diminutive players seem to have that skill set in them.
Uganda's Zinzan Brook, Adrian Bukenya. Just giving his interpretation of what he feels rugby he should be. But you're quite right, Adrian. And it's one of those games that has evolved. The rugby revolution starting off in around 1996. And the game has grown continentally and globally. You're seeing nations that hitherto had not been synonymous with rugby, like Ghana, now putting in a side here, a bit naive, but showing great promise for the future.
Indeed, Herbert. These tournaments by Africa Rugby are really supporting the growth of the game within this really high potential sporting continent. Support by Kwesé to broadcast the games makes a lot more exposure for these players, make them understand the nature of high-level competition, and the minute you get into that kind of exposure, you'll see improvement year on year. And the Gold Cup earlier this year, the Africa Sevens tournament, unfortunately the Safari Sevens isn't happening this year. However, tournaments of that nature within the continent will always be productive for the development of the game within the continent.
Absolutely. You talk about unfortunate scenarios. It's Namibia not featuring in this contest this year. Runners-up to last year's tournament that was held in Nairobi. Namibia opting, due to financial constraints, to concentrate on 15s rugby.
I think they're really trying to just make sure that they focus on getting into Japan in 2019. However, going forward, I think all the teams within the continent owe a duty to participate in these tournaments, because the more we all participate, the better it is for everybody within this part of the world. And you'll see the future of rugby is going to be really good going forward.
Botswana just sniffing that line, but poor pass coming in there. Unable to get that pass to Tefo.
Looks like they're playing a bit of hot potato with the ball.
Well, about 30 seconds left in this game. Zimbabwe just comfortably playing the game of patience.
I get a sense that the altitude is starting to get to a lot of these players, and the paces of the game have slowed down a bit. But Zimbabwe look like they've done the job, and they put a victory away.
1,100 meters above sea level, you said, Adrian.
So indeed.
So not the air becomes thinner as you continue playing more games.
Absolutely.
Good line up there by Botswana. And possibly looking to sign off with a try, looking to play it short. And mistakes that fortunes that they do get the benefit of the referee's call, an offside call against Zimbabwe. So playing it right, good run there. Can he make it? Can he deliver? Step in, step out. But that one dropped, played back. And it's Zimbabwe just putting it out through Shingirai Langoya, who's had a quiet game. And the 3 points taken by Zimbabwe as they wrap up their win against their neighbors from Southern Africa, Botswana. So Zimbabwe 2 out of 2. And heading back to the top of Pool B. This contest played at the Legends Ground in Kampala, Uganda. And it is the Africa Cup 2017 competition that we're witnessing. The full-time score, it's Zimbabwe 21, Botswana 7.
Captain, well done, 2 out of 2. Is this all going according to plan?
Yes, it is. We wanted to get the wins first up in the first 2 games. So far, so good. Thank you.
Obviously, it's early days yet. Still many games to play today and games tomorrow. What are your plans specifically for day 1?
So we just want to take it game by game. We want to work on a half and a half. So far, so good. We're sticking to our game plan, sticking to our structures, which is great. And most of the boys have got a run in the first 2 games, which is exactly what we wanted.
So I suppose the $1 million question is there anybody in your pool that you're fearing or looking out for?
No, I think every game's a tight one. We just need to take it one game at a time. We want to respect our position, regardless of who it is. So yeah, that's what we're looking to do with each game.
Well, wish you all the best with the rest of your matches.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Welcome back to Kampala. It's the Legends Sports Ground as we are for the Rugby Africa Men's Sevens competition. Two lucky teams will be heading off to the World Cup next year as arguably what a lot of people would have thought would have been the two finalists of this tournament. Zambia up against the host nations, Uganda. Arguably, Adrian, Uganda, we've only seen them once, where they didn't look their best, and Zambia 2 games not over flattering either.
Well, the level of the opponents between Uganda and Zambia have been quite different. I think Zambia have had a tougher run. Morocco and Tunisia have not been easy competitors. Uganda had Ghana. I think maybe they had some nerves. This is a big game. The results of this game are going to determine who would be on the top of the table, and Uganda then has a tough run with the games at the end of the tournament. But again, you saw Philip Wokarach showing his touch, and Zambia will have to watch out for him on this game.
So Uganda will kick us off. Philip Wokarach with ball in hand. We saw a bit of his class in their first game. I think as a whole they were maybe a little bit disappointing with just being a bit clinical.
Very good kickoff there by Philip Wokarach. Hanging kick, giving Uganda the chance to compete with the Zambians, and unfortunately a knock-on happening there, and therefore Zambia have a chance to restart just inside their half.
Their little playmaker putting the ball in the scrum, Guy Lipschitz, he's been great on defence and just really controls this Zambian game. And if he has a good game, Zambia's got half a chance here against what's expected to be a very classy Ugandan side.
Indeed, Zambia trying to play themselves out of their half, and this game is a game that Uganda must have targeted, ensuring that they try and get a victory.
Well, I think you guys were talking about Zimbabwe's performance a little bit earlier. They just won against Botswana. There goes Lipschitz, and he's a busier player. He is all over the show. Unfortunately, unforced error. But Guy Lipschitz off the back of a ruck. And the first half chance break for Zambia just going awry.
Indeed, very enterprising play by Lipschitz there. He looks at the break, and there's a gap on the side. Adrian Kasita was able to cover him. Big tackle there, and Zambia are not able to pick up that pass, showing you the sort of danger that they can provide once they're given a little bit of space.
Well, Guy Lipschitz, he's busier than a one-hand builder in Kampala.
Oh dear.
Off the back of the scrum.
And that was an unfortunate error by the Ugandan scrum half, Kevin Keremundu. And Zambia has a chance to launch an attack in a very, very positive area of the field.
Israel Kalumba with ball in hand, the captain, and looks like advantage out for Zambia. And there's an unforced error. Yeah, maybe an offsides from Uganda. We were talking about Zimbabwe's sort of lack of energy and lack of go-forward ball, and I think that as a team, as much as a game like this is really tough and it's dangerous where you might end up at the log at the end of the day, is at some stage before you get into day 2 you want to be tested.
Indeed, and I think this is an opportunity where I think Uganda is going to have a big test from Zambia, but a great counteract by the Ugandan team. A chance for them to put Zambia to the sword, because this is the first go forward that they've had all morning. Philip Okarach tackle there into touch. However, great play by Uganda. Zambia's defense holding strong, and a chance for them to, wow, big fend at knock-on through the tackle. So the Zambian defense did actually do its job.
I can tell you that was the captain, Israel Kalumba, who came and wiped him out from the side. He's a big, strong unit. And no doubt that there'll be an element of wanting to target Okarach.
Indeed, I mean, he's the man to watch, and everybody knows his skill set. So for so long as you put him into control, then maybe you control the Uganda team.
Now isolated Zambia, and yeah, it was penalty written all over it. There's going to be the first try. So Zambia caught under pressure. They shipped the ball nice and wide, but they isolated themselves, and Uganda picked up the mistake. Quick early tap, and in for a simple first try of this game.
James Ijongat, a pivot player for the Kampala Old Boys Club in Uganda. Philip Okarach, quick tap, catching the Zambian defense snapping. Actually stemmed from a mistake during the Zambian attack where the player lost his feet, and the defense didn't react to set themselves as the Ugandan turnover turned into 7 points.
Well, slightly, without sounding biased to Southern African teams, as I know that you're from East Africa.
There's the stumble.
Maybe a little bit against the run of play. It has all been Zambia. But again, Uganda up to the task of realizing that there was an opportunity. Quick tap. The scrum half was there, and simple try.
Indeed, well, against the run of play is right. The whole of the game against Ghana, Uganda actually did not score on an attacking play, and so maybe their game plan is to profit off of the errors of the opposing team, attacking team. And Zambia have been guilty of letting Uganda score when they had really good control of this game.
They're struggling to get out of their first own half is Zambia, but he has an opportunity.
Oh! Big hit.
Israel Kalumba, ball in hand, and he's taking some real contact as the captain. And here they come again with some numbers. It's a good tackle. Great defense from Uganda. They're not letting up, and there's the forced error.
The referee didn't see that. I think Uganda were very lucky there not to be penalized. But that hit in a couple of plays ago was really heavy on Mr. Kalumba. Lawrence Sebuliva not having anything to do. Whoa. Very solid. Well executed tackle there.
Yeah, it was. I think he'll know he was in a rugby match. So Uganda, whose defence has stood up nicely against a couple of attacks from Zambia, now have an opportunity. It's straight down the middle from Okarach. He offloads, and Lawrence Kaiua will get in for his first try of this game.
Well done to Uganda. Michael Okarach able to break the defence, and Lawrence Kaiua Sebuliva sauntering through. He's a man with a lot of pace. He plays on the wing in the 15s game and was able to breach the Zambian defense, giving Uganda a 14-point lead close to the end of the first half. And there you see Michael Okarach sizing his man up, taking a step through, breaking a second tackle, breaking a third tackle, and Lawrence Sebuliva inside ball straight down the gut of the Zambian defense.
The half-time hooter goes, so a chance for a breather. Zambians, I can tell you, are not overly happy with what has happened today. I've noticed a lot of chat. The Ugandans will be a lot happier than what happened in their first game. I think they would have been a little bit worried about their performance, but so far in this second game, much better. And half-time score here, Uganda lead Zambia 14 points to 0.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Welcome back to Kampala. If you've just joined us, it is Zambia up against Uganda. And the Zambians find themselves trailing the Cranes 14 points here in Kampala. 2 good tries from the Ugandans, giving them the lead. And Zambia, who've been a little bit indifferent in the tournament from what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, just haven't really found their feet. But these kind of games, like we said in the first half, an opportunity to be tested. And something might just happen that will get you back into that playing way. Unfortunately, the kickoff isn't the right start because it's gone straight out.
Indeed, fundamental error there by Zambia. The kickoff not going, going straight into touch. Dirk, you'll notice that the clouds have started hovering over the Legends Rugby ground, and this is the rainy season in East Africa. And if the rains come, that might change the tactics. However, Uganda are showing their good skills and really testing the Zambian defense.
On the front foot and with numbers as well. They're under pressure, Zambia. Great hands from Wakaraj, still going. Now a chance to get it nice and wide. Zambia all over the show in defence. And pretty simple in the end. The Ugandan Eric Samuel Kasita will get in for the 3rd try for Uganda.
Brilliant score by the captain, Eric Kasita, there after about 4 phases of play, sending the Zambians left and right. Conversion is good. Uganda has put down 3 tries against Zambia. Zambia looks like after the 3 games, they're starting to breathe heavy. Great long pass. Adrian Kasita also sending it straight to Eric Kasita. Show and go. The Zambian defense was just fatigued. I think not able to take care of their assignments and letting Kasita dot down for the 3rd converted try for the defending champion Rugby Cranes. They're having a good time hosting this tournament right now and really happy about the sort of results that they will be getting to date. Note, Dirk, that they haven't yet been scored in this tournament. They've gone 36-0, and so far Zambia doesn't look like they're likely to breach the line.
Yeah, they are struggling, Zambia, and they're up against a Ugandan side that will be full of energy. They're the host nation, so they'll have the crowd behind them as well. And the Zambians just a little bit under pressure. You were talking about the rain a little bit earlier. In the sort of southern parts of Africa, we get thunder showers and lots of lightning. Is this sort of like just more rain all day?
Not quite. It's flash rain showers that are able to go and the sun will come right back. But they could really disrupt the conditions for the handling of the game. But Zambia is piecing together a very good attack right now.
That is a lot better phase of play from the Zambians, but they got a long way to go. You'd feel that they'd need to score quite soon and then get back and kick. There goes the bus. He had a fantastic tournament in Lusaka. And unfortunately, here's the comeback from the Ugandans.
Easy as you like. He stepped the man, looked at the line and said, look, good night, nurse. Philip Wakarach dots down the 4th try for Uganda.
He just makes it look too easy, to be honest. He has every attribute. He has the skill, he has the hands, the pace.
And the size.
And
He's
the
actually
size.
he's a big boy.
Very happy to go into contact. And I was about to say that when Uganda got this ball wide and it was a one-on-one with Philip Wakarach, there was only going to be one winner, I'm afraid.
Indeed, Philip, very clinical in his sizing up of his opponent and able to dot down for Uganda's 4th try. Good effort by Uganda. They are pulling away quite comfortably against the Zambians after a bit of a difficult start to this game. Good omen for them in terms of trying to defend their title.
They haven't allowed Zambia any space. You thought maybe in the first couple of minutes, and there's the pressure again put on Zambia on a very good structured defense from Uganda, and straight away it's advantage again.
Indeed, Trevor Squire, number 12, showing that this is the country for old men. He's a man who seems to have a lot of experience, and the Zambians are really asking themselves, what do we do next in terms of answering the questions that Uganda is asking of them? Joseph Heredo is now on the side, and Philip Wakarach again with a one-on-one opportunity. Well tackled by the Zambian defense. James Ijongat able to recycle to Joseph Heredo. Kevin Kerimundu, and with a man on the wide, Pius Ogina is going to stroll all the way for Uganda's 5th try.
I think Zambia just stretched a bit too far. Their defence was nice in their face when Philip Wakarach had ball in hand, and they were really putting pressure on Uganda. But the patience from the Cranes was inevitable that the gaps were going to open somewhere, and it was just too much for them.
Indeed, Pius Ogina sizing his man up, going inside. Squire unable to make that tackle, and Ogina able to dot down for another 5-pointer, which is duly converted, making it 5 goals for Uganda, making it 35-love against a dogged Zambia side that has had a really tough start to the tournament. Morocco, Tunisia and Uganda is no easy challenge, and they're coming undone now after winning 2 tight games earlier in the day.
He's a massive unit, is Nigel Chibwe. I think a little bit also in Zambia's defence is they've had 3 games back-to-back.
That is true. They started this tournament playing against Morocco really with a lot of energy, but they again sneaked out of that game at the last minute. Then they played Tunisia and also had a late try to seal the victory. So they did log up good points in the beginning, but they've come undone, having met Uganda, who seem a little bit fresher and showing their class against the Zambians.
I think this game has shown that Uganda have probably now stamped their sort of, not authority yet, but their expectation of where they want this tournament to end. They've been a much better unit. They've been clinical. They haven't allowed Zambia to score any points, and that's important as well, to not only score tries but to keep a clean sheet. Israel Chilumba, it's a good defensive tackle from him. But again, they stretched very wide. Zambia. There's the wide ball. And just not finding the hands of the winger.
Toba Tanyango there, the coach of Uganda, with a rueful giggle after that pass did not stick. It's the last play of the game, and Uganda was unable to conclude. However, they managed to close out the game 35 points to 0 versus Zambia.
That was the reaction from the coaches, and pretty happy with the outcome of the game. And Uganda will smiles all around, and so they should be, because it's been very clinical from the Cranes in their second game. It means now that Zambia have played 3, won 2, lost 1. And Uganda continue 2 wins from 2 games. In the end, it's a comfortable victory for the Cranes of Uganda, 35 points to 0 over Zambia.
Captain, I suppose there isn't too much pressure as defending champions looking at how you've performed in these first 2 games.
I think in the first game we a bit shady and cold feet and all that, but it was the first game and we came up. Second game we knew we were playing against Zambia and they're trophy contenders and we had to put our bodies on the line.
Both games have had emphatic victories. What do you attribute that to?
Teamwork, that's all, teamwork. Yeah, we decided to work as a team, and yeah, the output was really good.
So looking at what's left today and tomorrow, what are you hoping to achieve?
We're hoping we can win all the other games today that we have today, then move into tomorrow with a clear slot to play maybe number 1 or number 2 tomorrow in the other group.
Captain, well done and all the best.
Thank you so much.
This hot, and you're big, this big. When you're deep, it's this deep, and you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Welcome back to Kampala, Legends Sports Ground here in the capital, as we have just witnessed a very impressive performance from Uganda over Zambia. But our next game, Morocco up against Tunisia. Adrian Bukwenya's made way for Kenny Simba. Kenny, these 2 teams both off the receiving end of their previous games, and a chance now to separate the 2. Someone's going to have to pick up a victory.
Yeah, and it's always good because these 2 teams, whenever they meet, it's a great derby. They call it the North African derby, whether it's in soccer, 15s rugby, but now in 7s, with a lot of at stake, you know.
I was going to say as well, I don't think much love lost between the 2 teams either.
Yeah, and we could see with the women's 7s that we did earlier on, there was a lot of animosity and real rivalry. I think it's something that dates back, way back, you know, and that there's always intensity. 2 skillful sides that are desperately looking for a win here.
Well, I was reasonably impressed with Morocco's performance in their previous game, and we expect that they will continue to get better.
Good placed kick there that Tunisian sides struggled to collect, but they've gathered up and starting to make headway in the far 5.
And now an opportunity to get it nice and wide. And we've also noticed quite a few players not really happy to extend or really put the hammer down. And my opinion is that because each team's got 4 games today, it's hot, it's humid, the conditions are tough, but all teams are just sort of maybe playing within themselves, which in a way is understandable, but can be dangerous as well, Kenny.
That can be real dangerous, and we've seen early on the Zimbabwe Cheetahs obviously giving a run to their squad members, but it can be costly. As the rain starts drizzling down, you know, ball handling is going to become even more important.
Well, it's like a basketball game. I think the ref sort of lost touch of where the forward was, and just said play on. There's a penalty. So now an opportunity for Tunisia to put the first points on the board. A little cross kick, finds his player, and it'll be an easy run-in for Majideen, and he scored a couple of tries. He's been physical and finds himself in the right place again to get in under the posts.
Yeah, well worked try. We always discuss that cross kick pass, whether it's effective, and it was real effective here. As we can see, the kick going over. But he's been in good form. I've really been impressed by him, his running skills. As you can see here, they were working the right and just decided to go left with a little chip through as the rain starts dropping down. He touched down for the first try of the game.
Another good kickoff from the Tunisians, and straight away Morocco under pressure, but he has a little bit of space for them. They need to get it through the hands. There's numbers as well on the near side. That's a good run from Morocco. The supporters on the inside, finds his man, and can he go all the way? Yes, he's going to. Looks like the number 3. This looks like what's on his back. Porallo is the man who gets over for Morocco.
Yeah, well, with an interesting strapping around his jersey, he drops in for their first try, but it was really well worked. You can see this pass splits the defenders. It's attract 2 defenders and give them the pass back inside with the left step, and he's in for the first try for Morocco.
It's me, Brian. Do we need cover for the mic?
Let's see if the kicker can add the extra 2. Oh, that's a really good kick. Just to level up the score. 7-all it is.
Well, it was good patience from Morocco, as they really had to build from their own 22, and in the end a good try from them. Kick good, and it's all leveled out. It's 7 apiece.
Yeah, the Moroccans are going to look to get some good hang time on this kickoff. Oh, really good kick. Well received from the Tunisian team, and they're underway. Running down the right-hand side of the touchline. Going to look to tap quick and spread the ball. They really have space. Oh.
Remember as well is that a little bit of rain on this grass means that the ball's going to get a little bit slippery. Referee decides that Morocco went 10 from the last penalty, so Tunisia are going to get another stab at maybe trying to put some more points on the board due to the lazy runners from Morocco.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this line out, because the ball is really slippery. To find your marker, it becomes a bit more challenging when the rain is drizzling. It'll be interesting to see if the coaches start advising their players just to stand a little bit tighter and obviously use the running for the width as the ball becomes really slippery.
Well, it will test the skills of all the teams.
As a line-out option. As I mentioned it, I think another commentator's curse about the line-out.
Are you going to allow the thrower to get away with that one, saying the ball was wet? It was a poor throw, come on.
Yeah, poor throw, but I mean, I think the referees, we're always about positive running rugby, so we let those little things slip.
Okay, I'll forgive you, Kenny. But you're not getting away with the commentator's curse.
No, that I won't.
Well, the danger that we have is that the rain comes down here. It's not too heavy in Kampala, but Adrian Bakwenya, Kenny, has warned us of flash floods when it rains in the East Africa.
Yeah, I understand.
How's good you're swimming?
Well, it's an interesting interesting question that is about the swimming. I was the top swimmer way back
in
the
the
days.
crew, in the production crew.
In the crew. Oh yeah, we can have a swimming.
We'll have a
swimming
gala as
race.
well.
A gala. We do have a race, a gala, and the touch rugby competition. Just keeping the Kwesé Sports production crew on a healthy tip here.
Kenny is not always known as just the Hall of Famer. He's director of sport for Kwesé crew as well. You're a little bit concerned about how many events you've organised though, Kenny.
Yeah, they say that you got to space out your events because you know, we're getting old and there's a lot of events coming up, so you really got to space your out.
So Morocco throw in on the halfway line. There's another poor throw. So it'll be, no doubt, scrum down to Tunisia. Final play of the first half, 7 apiece. I suppose now, as much as we heard Hilton Mudariki after their game and talking to Hugo, talking about it going according to plan, we've had a couple of guys having a run. I don't think too many teams maybe have said that they would have expected too much rain, because that's now going to come into
exactly
play.
Yeah, and I mean that's what happens when you don't take those types of things into consideration. You might turn up in a game and the weather plays its part. It's a leveler and the team just peeps you because you didn't put enough points. So sometimes the points system can work against you if you're not playing with intensity every game.
Well, final play, says the referee, and maybe one more chance. There's that kick again. Kenny not a big fan of it, but guess what? He waited it to perfection, did Majnadine, and 2 tries for Tunisia, both off the boot, and Chess Divine gets over for the second try for Tunisia.
Yeah, as I said, I really am impressed by Majnadine. What a beautiful weighted kick. This is the best way to end a half, with a really, really classy try, as Morocco are working the weather here. As the kicker concentrates.
Well, that's the half-time whistle. How great do those tries look when they come off, and how ordinary do they look when they don't, Kenny?
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we call a coach killer, because he's busy telling you, do not kick the ball. Next thing, you're celebrating a 5-pointer. But I think they'll be fairly satisfied with their game so early on.
Well, there's your confirmation. Tunisia at the halftime, 2 tries off the boot. They lead Morocco 12 points to 7.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
So the second half about to kick off in the rain here in Kampala. It's not heavy, but like Kenny said, it will play a huge part in the game plans of these teams, because it's enough to make the grass wet, and more importantly, enough to make the ball wet.
And obviously then testing your skills, your aerial skills, and obviously your contact skills. All of that comes into play, as we see with the kickoff there.
Well, the assumption as well is in the rain and the wet weather is that the game should become a lot more controlled and tighter. The flair sort of falls away, which will affect teams that have those kind of players that are really the X factor, that are going to make the big difference. But they really got to pull the belt in and just concentrate on holding on to the ball and simple rugby.
And that sort of, to what you said earlier on, that every team, when you do get a chance to get out and play, you've got to get out and play, not knowing where the points difference, and that affects you later on in the competition. The rain starts dropping down, and these score margins start also narrowing down because of the weather.
Well, there's not much in it. It's just 12 points to 7, as the last try was unconverted on the half-time hooter from Tunisia. So one little mistake here could still go either way. There's still a lot of rugby to be played in this game. There's Eugene again. Great little step from him. He continues going. And a good appreciation from the laws from him. He was taken into contact, released the ball, and straight away he's won it back for his team. And now a chance for Tunisia to try and put this game out of control of Morocco, but that's not going to help.
Yeah, just going off his feet to seal the ball. That's why the ref gave the penalty away. Oh, good work in off the midfield with some good stepping there.
It's great work from Morocco. Here's the question whether or not that was offsides, and the referee says no. So Tunisia, their excitement and exuberance, they just got to be careful. But what they'll do is they'll keep Morocco in this game if they keep giving away penalties.
Yeah. And it's also contentious in terms of the referees. A lot of them aren't quite sure of the breakdown laws, and there's a lot of where's the entry, who's on their feet, who's the sealer. A lot of questions that are going into these breakdowns, and that's something that I would like to see cleared up as the tournament progresses.
Brian Brickett, he's number 5 for Morocco.
Interesting. The Moroccan team just explaining there's a gap in the line out, and then immediately as the ref turns around, they close up the gap. Oh, great loop around. As they work it into the 5.
Someone needs to recycle that.
As we spoke about it at the breakdowns, the referee is fed up and he's bringing out the yellow card.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. That was just a really poor from Cheli. He's gone straight over the top. And now they'll be under real pressure. Morocco with a perfect opportunity. Brian Brickett with ball in hand, just weighing up his options. Still going Morocco. There's the loose ball. Who's got the pace?
Is he going to get him? No, he won't. He gave up on catching that train. It was well away.
Shamsuddin gets in for his second of the game. Didn't look like he had the pace on the defender, but he pinned his ears back. He wasn't going to pass the ball. And in the end, his pace paid off, and he gets in for his second try of the game.
And immediately signals to his coach that I need a substitution, because it was long run. Long run. As they attempt to just to add the 2 points. That was a 7-point turnaround because Morocco was right on the attack here.
Just trying to force the play, which was probably the wrong decision. And he's run 3/4 of the distance.
Yeah, real interest. He was chasing just as he gave up at the time that he could have made the tackle. Morocco lets the kick bounce into touch. Bit of a elementary error there.
Well, I think fair to say that maybe Morocco are done. You know, they had the opportunity, they had the extra man with the yellow card, they were on attack, and it sort of just disappeared.
Yeah. Where they could have leveled the game out, it's end up in their 22 trying to...
Well, you rugby people, what do you call it? A 14-point swing?
This one is a seven-point swing around, because with that extra man, they were looking to score an extra point there.
Great defense from Tunisia, really in the face of Morocco, not allowing them any space. But someone's going to have to do something special for Morocco if they want to come back here. Whether it's pace, and referee decides that that's a knock-on.
Again, very lateral in their attack on the Moroccan side. I think they're just, shoveling the ball without any angle runners. And it's always easy to defend because you just push the guys out close to into touch.
Brian Brickett showing his disappointment in how this game's turned out. So Tunisia put in with arguably the last play of the game. And trip and chase, probably not the best decision, 50-50 ball, but they've got enough of a lead that even if it didn't go their way, Morocco ain't going to win this game, and a good result for Tunisia. They'll pick up full points in what was expected to be quite a tight game. And he's got pace, this man. Their number 7 from Morocco, Younes, and he's probably going to go all the way. And that's exactly what I said. A speculative kick, not needed. Hold on to the ball, and they're just lucky that they had a decent lead.
Yeah, and it's real unfortunate because Morocco, when they had the man advantage, they could have capitalized. They would be in the lead now. But so works this exciting game that is sevens. The ball can turn, can bounce, can work in your way or against you.
He's put in a lot of fast runs. Have you seen his hair? How it's all sort of brushed back. I think it's all the amount of runs he's put in.
He does have wonderful pace though. Scoring his second try of this tournament. Blistering. Oh, that's a good strike. Oh, great kick. Real unfortunate that they couldn't level out the score when they were a man up.
Well, you're right, and they'll look back at those areas. Tunisia, as much as they'll gratefully accept the full points for that game, I hope the coach is going to have a word about the little chip kick that would have got them into a lot of trouble if the game was any closer. But in the end, Tunisia, no harm done, full points for them. And not that they'll progress, but they'll position themselves very nicely in their pool. And confirmation that the old battle between Morocco and Tunisia this time goes to Tunisia, 19 points to 14.
Coach, the going seems to have been a little bit tough for you this morning.
Yes, we don't play very good. We have the young team, and we just train just 2 days, and we travel, and we come very late yesterday. So maybe this afternoon you will be okay.
So what are your overall objectives? What are you trying to achieve?
The objective is the same as the other team. We need to do the quart de finale, but we know that it was very difficult to win. We need to win one game. We have just 2 points of defensive, but it's not enough. We need to increase your level and our level, and we develop your game, your rugby game.
Okay, so are you going to change your strategy, or are you going to keep doing the stuff that you've been doing this morning?
We are going to discuss with the guys, and maybe we will change the strategy, because we know that Moroccan team was displaced the ball, and we need to penetrate when we have an interval, but that was very complicated. We need to train more, so that's why 7 it's not like 15, so we need to train more. And but I am sure I will be increase the level and improve our game. Thanks.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck this afternoon.
Thanks a lot.
So there's confirmation of Pool A results. There's still a couple left to go as we're halfway through day one here in Kampala. Ghana, Tunisia, that was the first game of the day, 19 points each. And then the big game, which was expected to be a good one, it wasn't. Uganda, very convincing victors over Zambia, 35 points to 0. There's the Pool B results. Mauritius going down to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, the team that have been pretty good. But watch out for Madagascar. They've only played one game, beating Mauritius 40 points to 10. And who knows, there might be a little upset somewhere in this pool later on today. There's Pool A logs. Zambia still top of the log only because they've played 3 games. Uganda 2 from 2. And the expectation is that they'll go all the way and win all 4 of their pool games. Our Pool B logs, Zimbabwe 2 from 2. Madagascar and Senegal 1 apiece. And Botswana and Mauritius, they're struggling a little bit, haven't won a game yet. So, Legends Sports Ground, we're going to take a short break. Make sure you join us at 12:50 CAT for more rugby action here live on Kwesé Sport.
Is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Pearl of Africa, and that is Kampala, where we are at the Legends Sport Ground. It's the venue of the Africa Men's Sevens Championship. Welcome back from the break. It's Botswana versus Madagascar. The next game that we're about to watch in this exhilarating contest of sevens rugby that we've been watching since morning. Botswana losing 2 games and Madagascar winning 1. So Madagascar coming in as dark horses into this event. And don't forget, you can all catch the action on our Facebook page. Just go to Kwesé ESPN and you can follow the action, as well as the hashtag Kwesé Sports. Also the web page, www.kweseespn.com. Both teams now just taking onto the field. It's Madagascar in green, and more so predominant green, and Botswana in blue. So the Indian Ocean Islanders taking on the Southern African side. Southern African side have been well on a learning curve as they also rub shoulders with some of Africa's better sevens rugby teams. On the Botswanan side, Tefo Ramoroka, the number 9, is quite influential, while on the Madagascar side you have Harry Ralamaidona, as well as number 4, Nofi Rakoto Nirina, who are key players in that Madagascar side that is seeking a second win in this contest. That is in its day 1, where teams will be hoping to finish at the top of their pools and as well as get good rankings for day 2 tomorrow. Remember, this tournament has so much at stake in that there are World Cup slots in contention, as well as series sports. So the winners and the runners-up of this tournament go to the Hong Kong Sevens, where they will be seeking a co-status. One team that will play in the qualifiers in Hong Kong will be looking to get a spot in the next season's World 7 Series. This game being commentated from the booth, Herbert Mwachiro and Kennedy Simba, from a Zimbabwean international, now talks more than he runs and gives you more in terms of rugby analysis on Kwesé Sports.
Thank you for that. I'm really looking forward to the Madagascar side. This is their second game today, and they were impressive on the first game. And I think Botswana on a real learning curve in terms of international rugby at the standard, and I think it's good for them because they're a nation that's looking to build.
And it's Botswana with the first possession, but a mistake there. Costly mistake, could be proved costly. Referee calls the knock forward. So they do lose the possession there. Elementary mistakes, as Adrian Bukenya, former Ghanaian captain, who would say.
Yeah. Started looking at the attacking options before he got the ball. That's always the little error that a lot of the players are found wanting with that.
So the first set piece of this sevens contest between Botswana in blue, Madagascar in green. Botswana penalized, and immediately Madagascar on the run, looking to spread it wide, but a poor pass. It's been drizzling here in Kampala, so there could be possibly adjustments to playing in a bit of a wet conditions by both sides. The ball definitely will be wet as well as the ground, but a good run there coming from the number 6. Regiona Mikhail. He's been on the scoreboard already. So Michael Rohagiona gets the first 5-pointer for the Madagascar side, showing their intentions early, not joking around here, Madagascar.
Yeah, good start from them. He was just able to exploit the gap that was open out wide. The defenders started drifting before the ball got to them, and that really opens up an attacking option for the players, as we can see here. Great offload. And there the defender started defending out wide just before, instead of closing up that little gap. And that's what the game of sevens is about. It's about trying to exploit those little gaps that the defenders aren't closing up.
So Madagascar with the restart, is the opportunity to increase their tally. They'll be looking to win the kickoff, and they do it well. Got that one thrown forward. The referee says play on, and they are playing on, and they do get a try. Well, suspicions of a forward pass there, but Madagascar taking advantage. You play to the whistle, and it's their second try.
Yes, and the Madagascan coach won't want to be hearing any of that. He just wants to hear that we're going to be close to 12 points up if we can get the kick. Really marginal, quite close. You know, it could have been deemed to go backwards first and then forward. But Madagascar will take that because that's a good score. If they can get this kick after 3 minutes 42, they are 10 points up, or 12 points up, and that's a good lead.
This was the set piece, suspicions of forward, but referee was better positioned than Kennedy and I to make that call. And in the end, Madagascar getting their second try. Again, Botswana on the back foot. And this time winning a penalty, Madagascar offside, caught in the offside position. So trading in no man's land. As the Botswana just looking to get out of their own half. But a good defense being played by the Madagascar side. Well organized. And also putting in their tackles, one-on-one. But they have been caught by the referee, having broken the law. So it will be a penalty again to Botswana. Again the restart. But a good defense, quick rush defense on the Madagascar side, by the Madagascar side. Possession, yes, with Botswana. And footballing skills there, but in the end, no try scored. But there must have been an infringement spotted by the referee.
Yeah, that's really messy, that. You know, a lot of knock-ons. We understand the ball has got a little bit of dew from the little drizzle that we had earlier on. But skillful teams have to look to take care of the ball. You know, I mentioned earlier on ball maintenance, and that falls right in that category. I've been impressed with this referee, though, because some of his calls have been really accurate, and he's been clear with his decision-making.
Advantage set these to Madagascar. Looking to swing it wide. And that one definitely is the third 5-pointer of this game. Had to bring it in back. And there's good support coming in from the two runners. And it's the number 10.
This is really well worked try. As we can see, they got it out wide. And two inside passes that unlocked the Botswana defense. That was a great try.
About a minute to the break. A very poor kick. Horrible kick. I know Rahari Mikhail knows he can do better than that. Fancy hairstyle or not, you got to kick it.
Yeah, I think, Herbert, you can just give them a bit of a kicking tips later on.
Yes, Kenny. You know, I was one of the few props who could actually put those over with ease. Botswana again looking to break out. Dumb even on the board there. But, still ball held. Yeah, should have let go of the ball from the tackle. Good refereeing there.
Yeah, you'd like to see him just retain the ball because he had got, you know, way over the advantage line, and just retain the ball. And I think that's one of the things that the Botswana team is struggling with. It's just continuity.
And again picked up by Madagascar. Got a good strong run on the wing. But as I said, messy and tidy. Anytime the hooter will be going. And Madagascar comfortably 17 points ahead of Botswana. Botswana just haven't come into this game at all. They've just been away.
But I think it's a good thing that they're at a tournament like this, where there's so much at stake. We know that, you know, there's a World Cup 2 slots chances that got to go to San Francisco. But for them to experience what it takes to, you know, be at tournaments that are like this, I think it's a good experience for them.
Absolutely, Kenny, absolutely. And they play, there's also the Commonwealth sport for the Commonwealth countries, and Botswana being one of the Commonwealth countries, we'll be at least hoping if that could be some consolation from them. But it's only day one, more of this will shape up on day two.
Yeah. And I think the key is that you can't lift your standards if you're not playing against, you know, the better nations on the African continent. And I must say I've been very impressed by the Madagascar team. I mean, they've been clinical here, you know, scored 17-0. They've been capitalizing on any mistake that the Botswana team has made.
Well, the rugby's come a long way. Way back in 1987 at the 4th All Africa Games, they were medalists there in the rugby competition. And when you go to Antananarivo, you play in front of crowds of about 35,000 fans. So rugby has taken its root in Madagascar quite well.
Yes, and you know, it's a really intimidating crowd that is. You know, close to the crowd that we've got here when the Ugandan team are playing, we can really feel that.
Absolutely.
That intense support.
Well, the halftime break is on as both teams go to the coaches. Halftime score, Botswana 0, Madagascar 17.
When you're hot, it's this hot. And you're big, this big. When you're deep, it's this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Back from the small break, it's Madagascar leading Botswana by 17 points in this men's Africa Cup competition 2017. And, just remind you, you can follow the action on Facebook on our page Kwesé ESPN. Just spreading using all sorts of mediums for which this exciting rugby game is being shown. And as Kennedy Simba has talking about the lesser nations developing their mental as they play more skillful, more experienced nations in this game of rugby.
And I think the beauty of this tournament is that there's, you know, 2 places up to qualify to go to that World Cup in San Francisco. So I think, you know, you've got much more of a chance if you can roll the dice twice.
Well, an awful restart.
I wonder, do you get a 10-meter advantage if the ball goes behind the halfway line that you're kicking it?
Yeah, apologies there being expressed by Moepi Matla, but it's Madagascar on the run, and a good run coming in on that right wing, but unable to just get to the chalk. Good tackle actually, to the try-saving tackle coming in from the Botswana defense. So just denying Madagascar an opportunity to begin the second half with a score. Lahatra Fionana just being denied. Excellent tackle. Go low.
Great textbook tackle there. And I must commend the Botswana team for such great commitment. I think they always chase up the play, and they've got a certain intensity that is very
kick.
encouraging.
And it's Botswana on the chase, but Madagascar will clean up at the back and turn defense into attack. Good numbers by the Botswana side. Possibly a turnover. Yes, it is. So they did well coming in from deep in their own half, and now looking to make a foray into the Madagascar half. Referee calling it well. He's policing the breakdowns very well, this referee. Yet again, small mistakes, just denying Botswana the opportunity. And now it's the chase back by Botswana. Madagascar claiming that the ball was carried over the line by the Botswana side. And good defense work there being done by for Botswana.
Just looking at this tackle, great technique, shoulder in the right place, the head in the right place, and we talk about safety in rugby. That was the classic example right there.
So Botswana on the 22, just avoiding conceding in this half. So far it's been scoreless in the second half. Short kick, does well to find a man, excellent technique and good possession now. Madagascar scrambling in defense. Strong handoff, the big flares coming into the party. Still going, taking the narrow channel. Botswana. We've had good possession in this half so far, but no scores to show for it. So the ground still slippery from the earlier drizzle, and their discipline letting them down, conceding a penalty. Madagascar position, patiently building up, looking for the holes, and they're finding them. No sweep at the back, nobody home, so that will be an easy 5-pointer. Flat defense by Botswana.
Oh. How about that? If you're going to score, you've got to score in style. We always love a good dive, don't we?
Absolutely. Full 7-pointer.
I just feel for Botswana here, because the two defenders just slipped. As we can see, the outside defender, I think he was struggling with his chest, which he's being treated with now. But he opened up the gap for them to canter in and do a Bobby impression of a Bobby Skinstad little dive there. Not too impressive though.
Well, changes by the Botswana side, by the Madagascar side, letting more of the bench get some good game time. This one, the results is already been decided, so the coach deciding to give the bench more game time. You can see Solomani Piona being prepared to come in. And Madagascar, almost. So now the referee and his assistant will consult.
I think there's a bit of a lack of communication between the two refs there. It was really close. Oh, he didn't touch that down.
I'd say good defense coming in from Botswana.
Yeah, again, that commitment that I spoke about, yes. That they really show commitment in terms of defense and, you know, bringing their part to this tournament.
Less than 90 seconds left in this encounter. Botswana scoreless. Madagascar looking to increase their tally. Scored 40 in the first game. Nefi has been brought down. Referee rightly judging that it is a penalty to Botswana. Nefi not releasing the ball. Botswana just looking for an opportunity to at least put some respectability on the scoreline, but knocking it forward. So back chance being blown as it will be a set piece to the Madagascar side.
Yeah, it really has been a scrappy game in terms of the ball slippery and you know, and handling. We're just hoping that it starts drying up so that we can see some of that free-flowing rugby that we expect from the sevens.
Botswana getting the half penalty from the referee. Good run, a good shove there. Finally, they smell the chalk, and it is 5 points for the Botswana side. Straight from the half penalty. A good run on the wing by one of the big men, ensuring that Sabang Moepi does get the first 5-pointer for Botswana in this game.
Oh, that's an excellent try. As we can see here, he gives him the take the next bus. And a great offload. Excellent try there. It's the best way for Botswana to finish off this game. They had to cross the line. It was quite crucial because you don't want to end off the game with a donut.
Well, they'll be looking to get the final 2 of the game. And the flags go up, indicating the final scoring in this contest. So Botswana at least finishing the game with some measure of respectability. As both sides shake hands, signaling at the end to a grueling but a friendly contest. And as the two teams walk away, the full-time score, it's Botswana 7, Madagascar comfortable winners with 24.
Hot is this hot, and you're big, this big. When you're deep is this deep, and you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Well, welcome back to the Legends Sports Ground in Kampala, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Africa Men's Sevens Cup, Senegal versus Zimbabwe. It's West Africa versus Southern Africa as the two teams now take onto the field. This one's going to be a grueling contest between two teams that already had an acquaintance earlier this year in the Africa Gold Cup, the 15 versions of the Africa competition. We won't talk about the results, but we know it was quite a contest.
Indeed, Herbert. Senegal coming up with a scalp of Zimbabwe, and that was a very unexpected result. However, both these teams are undefeated today. Senegal have only played once, and they showed a good stature against Botswana. Zimbabwe have gone, I think, a couple of games undefeated, and let's see who comes out victors in this exciting game that we're about to see.
Indeed, Senegal won 1 so far in this contest today, and Zimbabwe won 2. Both teams are chasing the top 2 slots in this Group B encounter. Key players for the Senegalese side, you have Omar Diouf and Babakar Ba. And on the Zimbabwean side, definitely Scotty Jones and Shinga Langoyo, together with Lucky Sitole, will be key players in this Southern African side.
The weather has let up, Herbert, and looks like the sun's coming back, which means hopefully open and exciting rugby to come.
Boyd with the kick. And, just fumbling of the ball by Senegal, not able to control it, and Zimbabwe making a claim to it. But, the referee saying play on. And picked up by Boyd at the back. He was in the sweeper's position, looking to just get the action. A good run there on the left side by Shingai. And he's got his motorbike on. And it will be the first 5 points for Zimbabwe. The German best player is opening the score for the Zimbabwe side.
Indeed, Senegal had no chance against the speedster. After a poor clearance kick out of defense, Boyd able to stand his man up and provide the space for Tsingai to, as you rightly said, get on his scooter and scamper all the way for the 5-pointer.
Looking to add the extras, but not his best kick, but Shingi.
And there you go, that's a poor kick out of defense. Boyd was able to gather the ball, size the opportunities. Tsingai got himself into position, poor tackle attempt, And once he sized his man up, he said, stop and go. And two men could not match the speed and pace of the try scorer, Tsingai. I hear he's got a scholarship to go to the US for sprinting. And so he is a man to watch during the next couple of days.
Well, that one, too much in that kick. So Boyd just giving away possession to Senegal. Senegal getting the opportunity to have their first chance with the ball properly. Just overdoing it there.
But against Botswana, Senegal showed a lot of intent. I'm wondering if they will be able to match that intent against the Zimbabwe guys as two of the Senegalese fight to see who would place the ball.
Yeah, interesting. As I said earlier, that Senegal have brought quite a youthful side. Only 3 players have international experience, most of them making their debut for their 7th side in this tournament. All based in Dakar, no foreign players. Senegal do have a contingent of players who play in France, but for this competition they've brought all their African-based players who play rugby in Senegal. So it will be interesting to see how they will match up. But it's Zimbabwe looking to get their second score. We've been talking about Zimbabwe's pedestrian approach, but so far in this game they've upped the gear, and now it's Scotty Jones looking for Biselele Shamala, but that poor pass to the Pretoria University-based player going straight into touch.
Indeed, Zimbabwe upping their tempo, but it's quite encouraging what you said about Senegal. Having all the domestic players, young players coming up, it bodes well for them in the future. Let's see how they deal with top-level competition in the sevens version of the game.
Halfway through the first half, Zimbabwe 5, Senegal 0, only 5 points separating the two teams. Dieye always keen to get involved. And a yellow card from the referee on the big man, Biselele.
A bit harsh, in my opinion, but unfortunately that's the referee's interpretation of that high tackle. And Zimbabwe able to catch that up and turn that defense into attack.
And it's a Shingirai on the flank, but being closely watched by Sar Mamadou, as well as Ibrahima Diaby. Diaby is now on the field of play, but it's Jabilo Ndlovu who's actually been sin-binned. So Zimbabwe less one man, and can Senegal take advantage of the extra person on the field? But it's standing passes. They need to have go forward, good pass, but that one definitely forward. 2 standing passes, the third one definitely was going to go in front.
Indeed, Senegal need to take advantage of this one-man advantage they have over Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe again, still, in my view, I think they're holding back from what we can see, their capabilities. Senegal, the young Senegalese team is, well, they're showing up today. Let's see if they have the wherewithal to withstand the Zimbabwe onslaught, although Zimbabwe is playing with one man down.
Boyd plays to Madida. But it's Kulun Lela just barging towards Senegal's defense line. And the referee rightfully calling, but that one not taken on the mark. So actually,
honestly,
one of those mistakes you don't expect from a team like Zimbabwe.
Seriously, yeah, he literally bounced the ball and went on running without scratching the ball as part of the rules to restart the game. Fundamental errors, Herbert, fundamental errors. You never know how this might count to against Zimbabwe if Senegal decides to have a freak score towards the end of this half.
Absolutely. 60 seconds to go in this half. And Mamadou Sarr just places it down, definitely handing the advantage back to Zimbabwe. A bit of naivety there. This is the year, and he asked, what have I done?
Yes, indeed. I think it's a level of confidence you have to have in the game of sevens. You know, you're responsible for enabling your team to be in the right position of the field. In that case, he did not back himself to try and get them out of trouble. And it is going to cost them probably a score in the next few minutes.
Scotty Jones looking for the hole there, but arrested. But in the end, the try coming in from Biselela Shamala. Plays his rugby in South Africa with Pretoria University.
And this is the final parts of the play. And Shalala, the try scorer, powers his way over the line, dragging two Senegalese players over with him. He scored just before the end of the break. And again, the naive play by Senegal let them down and has cost them 5 points, potentially 2 extra if Boyd is able to do it. Good shot, but slightly off. And the half concludes with Zimbabwe in the lead, 10 points to 0. Zimbabwe is taking their time. And they're making their way through. This is probably going to be a good result for them at this point. And
full-time score at halftime, Senegal 0, Zimbabwe 10.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Well, both teams are listening to pep talk from their coaches. It is halftime. And Zimbabwe, well, they're ahead, but not being as impressive as we expect a team of Zimbabwe's stature, especially when they're playing novices in the form of Senegal. But they will be looking to get their third win. So far, they've won 2 identical scores, 21 points they scored in both games. And this time round, already 10 points ahead. And hoping that they will put in a record of scores against Senegal.
How about the stats show that Senegal has missed 7 tackles, and the score reflects that. Turnovers, nobody has won any turnovers. Handling errors 1, but really the telling stat is the tackles, number of tackles Senegal has had to make. Zimbabwe has been dictating the pace of the game.
Indeed, Zimbabwe's 3 missed tackles talk something about Zimbabwe's defense somewhere that they will have to improve. And this Pool B, well, it could spring a surprise or an upset, especially with the way Madagascar are playing in this pool. Senegal with the kickoff for the second half, and don't forget you can follow the action of this tournament on our Facebook page. Just go to Kwesé, ESPN.com and enjoy the rugby that's coming to you from the Legends ground in Kampala. The sun already now poking its eye through the clouds, so in about maybe 30 minutes this field will be as dry, and one would even have never imagined that there was a bit of a drizzle earlier on.
Indeed, Herbert. Zimbabwe there making a knock-on from a basic error. This has given Senegal their first chance in the game to be in the red zone against Zimbabwe. Let's see how they take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, losing the scrum. Good push there by Zimbabwe. Getting their big men to push when it really mattered. Turnover from the scrum down. And it's Scotty Jones to Boyd. Looking to get that ball to Shingirai on the wing. And Shingirai being released. Beats one man, beats a second, goes down. Good tackle there from Senegal. And stolen all by Fall Mamadou. But this is not the circus.
Mamadou Fall with a hop and a step and a very poor pass. unfortunately for Senegal, they were unable to take advantage of Singai's knock forward after he had a quite bullish run and a good tackle from the Senegalese defense.
Still no scores in this second half. Zimbabwe have the 10 to count for from the first half. Shingi linking up well with Boyd. Boyd brought down and losing that ball in the tackle. Something that Zimbabwe need to avoid. And Boyd knows that. He's even hitting the ground. Losing the ball in contact. That's what Zimbabwe have been guilty of in this game.
Indeed, fundamental errors. This is the third knock-on in 3 plays in the second half. Zimbabwe need to refocus and get concentrated on their task at hand, because it looks like they're losing their skill set, and yet we know them to be a well-drilled team coming out of a really good schools program in Zimbabwe.
Absolutely. When you talk about the schools that play rugby in Zimbabwe, been like factories for many a great Zimbabwean players. The Olunga brothers, Kennedy Timber himself. That's a good run now coming in from Lamin Mamadou. Plays it to Ibrahima, but losing possession to Boyd. Boyd holding firm, now goes down. And it's Scotty Jones. Zimbabwe need to spread it wide. Need to get it to their runners. But good defense, good covering coming in from the relatively young Senegalese side. Giving a good account of themselves here against a more established African rugby playing nation in Zimbabwe. Scotty Jones, no gaps in this one. But the referee blowing for high tackle there. No advantage. Maybe should have played the advantage. But it's the big run coming in from Lela. Jones. But a mistake once again by Zimbabwe.
But Senegal really have given a good account of themselves. They've just been unable to piece anything together in the going forward department. Zimbabwe have, as I said in the last game, look like they're taking this game at a relatively pedestrian pace, and they're not demonstrating the sort of speed and skill set that we would expect from the team of Zimbabwe. With Singai coming out, replacement, he's one of their key strike men. He's already given them a try today, but Zimbabwe now hopefully with a chance to put good to the good field position that they're holding right now.
Stefan Hunduza makes it 15 for Zimbabwe. Hunduza, another of the South African based brigade, plays his rugby over the border. And it's 15 points to Zimbabwe against Senegal. Taken more than 3 minutes, 4 minutes for them to get a score in the second half.
Indeed, from the scrum down, Zimbabwe released the ball out wide, and essentially they sized their man up. Hunduza looked at his man and said, look, let me just cut right back in and power my way over the try line. Well executed individual effort, and finally they get one of their conversions over, which again puts Zimbabwe in a commanding lead at the tail end of this encounter.
Actually, Hunduza plays his rugby in Zambia with the Diggers Rugby Football Club, Diggers RFC, one of the oldest rugby clubs in Zambia. So about 90 seconds left in this encounter. Zimbabwe leading 17-0. Wouldn't say comfortably leading, but they've struggled to make their presence in this game against a very novice Senegalese side.
Indeed, I think the level of competition is starting to show in terms of preparedness. I think Senegal is a team to watch in the future, and I've been impressed so far with their heart and their effort. I think with a bit more technical support, there will be a team worth their salt in the future.
Indeed, and if they're building up for the future, well, they're certainly on the right track. No support there, picked up by Zimbabwe, but knocked forward. The handling errors by Zimbabwe, they certainly have scored more in that.
I was going to say, they have actually scored more knock-ons than tries in this game, so quite disappointing for a team of Zimbabwe's stature. However, maybe these mistakes are good for them to make now so that they can try and correct them as they go into the business end of this tournament.
Indeed, the technical bench certainly has their work cut out post this game. 17 points they lead. But there's a lot to think about, a lot to talk about. The skills certainly need to be upskilled for the next coming encounters. Or else Zimbabwe could be facing...
I'm actually looking forward to the game against Madagascar. Given what Madagascar has done so far, Zimbabwe needs to be very careful about that encounter. And off to the races we go. Will he be able to skin his man? What a wonderful score by Senegal. Well received by the crowd here. Fantastic run by Diaby Ibrahima. Skinning his man.
Ibrahima Diaby, one of the 3 players who got 15 experience. I think he's pulled a hamstring with that run. You can see him in pain. That try coming at a cost for Senegal. Yes.
Diaby is a hero. He's a hero. If you look at this play, Senegal sends it wide. He really had nothing to work with. It was scraps, and he takes his man down, big fend, and he puts on his jet shoes, sizes up Mr. Boyd and says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that one."
Actually, Scotty Jones there just being handed off, and immediately he scored the try. He knew he'd torn it. So Ibrahima Diaby, he knows the tournament is over for him. In pain there. A good try for Senegal, but coming at a cost as Zimbabwe take 3 points from this game to shoot back to the top of the Pool B. As the final score of this game, Senegal 5, Zimbabwe 17. A correction there. Full-time score, Senegal 5, Zimbabwe 17.
Is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Of the Legends Ground here in Kampala is the venue, but we're going to take a break and we'll be back. Well, Pool A results so far, it's Ghana 19-19 against Tunisia in the first game, and the latest game in that pool was Morocco losing 14-19 to Tunisia in the Pool A results. Looking at the Pool B results, the interesting games there: Zimbabwe 21, Botswana 7, and more so the final game that we just watched, 5 for Senegal and Zimbabwe 17. Looking at the two pools, it's Pool A, Zambia on top ahead of Uganda by virtue of having played one more game, 7-6. Tunisia, Ghana and Morocco just forming the rest of the 5 in that pool. And looking at Pool B, it's Zimbabwe comfortably ahead. 3 out of 3 wins, 9 points to Madagascar 6, who are in second position. Senegal, Botswana, and Mauritius forming the rest of the crew. We'll be back at about 1400 CAT, and enjoy your break.
Welcome back to Kampala, beautiful sights of Uganda as we are into the last session of day one. It is Uganda up against Morocco. We're at the Legends Sports Ground. You're catching us live on Kwesé ESPN on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us. Joined in commentary by the homeboy, the crane himself, Adrian Bukwenya. Adrian, the Ugandan side obviously got all the home support, and in their last game showing that they will potentially be the team to beat in this tournament.
Indeed, they had a good start to the tournament, Uganda, and they're now starting to face the more difficult teams in their group. Morocco has shown some good form in the earlier games, and so this is the beginning of the test and the business end of the group stages. Let's see how Morocco can recover from their last loss to Tunisia, and Uganda can continue. Philip Okorach obviously showing his skills with Michael Okorach also delivering, whereas for Tunisia, Sahil Joudat, number 4, is one to watch, and Mohamed Abed maybe needs to step up a bit in order for them to defeat Uganda.
Well, they're strong, physical, and pretty quick, the Ugandans, but Morocco have some pacemen themselves. So they'll have to pull out all the stops if they're going to cause an upset here against a well-organized Ugandan side. Not the only unbeaten team in the tournament so far, Uganda. Zimbabwe 3 from 3, but they have been more clinical than the Zimbabweans, and that's going to be key going into the last day. The team that's more clinical is going to probably lift the cup at the end of the 2 days. Morocco ball in hand as they enter the Ugandan half of the field. And, referee's happy with that turnover. Now on the attack is Philip Okorach, still going through the hands. They need some support now, do Uganda. Now he's broken that tackle. Only they will know. Samuel Kasita gets in for the first try for Uganda.
Indeed, the captain's try. Very good turnover by Uganda. Philip Okorach setting up the play. Kaiwa not giving up on the play. Morocco unable to bring him down, and he powered through a couple of tackles and dotted down in the center to give Uganda the perfect start to this important game. Philip Okorach with the extras, and as you'll see in the replay, this is after the turnover. Philip Okorach holding on. James Ijongat passing on to his captain, Kasita, and he holds on. Tunisia gave up on that play, and Uganda able to pay dividend to a solid turnover.
Well, my replay didn't show where that all started from. was that very turnover you spoke of. And again, he's very good out of hand as well. The boot of Philip Wokarach, really giving Uganda another opportunity to put pressure on and build another attack.
And a good attack of that kickoff, and Uganda now with a chance out wide. Adrian Kasito releasing James Odong, and they're starting to show their attacking prowess, giving Tunisia a bit of headache as they pass the ball left and right.
Well, I believe as well is that the secret that don't let Uganda run at you, and maybe Morocco just found a little bit guilty of giving them a bit too much space. Now, I have the numbers. The captain on the outside. He's probably not going to be needed, as it'll be another simple run-in for Lawrence Kaiwa. And Uganda very quickly in the first half, 2 tries to 0 up.
Indeed, Lawrence Kaiwa Sebuliba able to execute a great step in after Uganda took Morocco through about 3 phases of play. Morocco is guilty of allowing themselves to watch Uganda play. And as you can see, Adrian Kasito sending the ball wide. James Ijongat linking up with Lawrence Sebuliba. He had a man to spare, and the defenders were unable to make the one-on-one tackle, and an easy try there for the Rugby Cranes. Uganda is in good rhythm. Of the 3 games they've played so far, this is the one that they've been attacking from the onset. They've been interesting enough. They haven't yet been scored a try in this tournament. So let's see whether or not Morocco can piece together something that will challenge the Ugandan defense.
Well, it's very few visits to the Ugandan half for Morocco, but this is one of them. And now building some kind of attack. It's a little bit slow. Oh, it's a good step. Still going. And no support for Brian Britchett. But they managed to get the ball back to Morocco.
Yes, indeed, the Ugandan guilty of tripping the Moroccan player, and then Uganda with the first yellow card of the tournament. Unfortunately for Byron Ekateyot, this is not football, and so that was an illegal tackle. Unfortunately for the number 5 of Morocco, he met Philip Wokarach straight on with a fantastic knock that took him right off his feet. But Morocco right now has a very good chance of scoring on Uganda. Cross kick, nobody, no cover, and an unfortunate error will give Uganda a chance to counter-attack. Morocco, unfortunately, are going to pay. This is what they call a 14-point swing, with James Ijongat scampering with Morocco just about to score. Uganda turns that into a 5-pointer. Dirk, Morocco had set themselves up perfectly to score. However, here you go, that wonderful cross kick. The defender had nothing but the try line and couldn't hold on to the ball, and he knocked it on. Adrian Kasito sized his man up. His support came for him. James Ijongat running inside, switched, and he went off to the races.
Yeah, disappointing for Morocco. They built some nice pressure. Obviously, the man up. And, Uganda down to 6 with that illegal tackle. And just totally bundled the whole thing, did Morocco.
I was mentioning that Uganda hadn't yet conceded a try all tournament, but looks like that record maintains. Morocco lost a golden opportunity to bring themselves very close in this game. Great kickoff there by Philip Wokarach, and the Ugandan crowd is waking up to support their team.
Well, who's got the legs to go all the way? And arm out from the referee. Not so sure how much arms were involved in that tackle. And looks like he's going to go all the way. He is. The question is going to be whether or not the ref's going to call time on that last tackle. and may erase that 100% record. And some good rugby from Morocco.
Indeed, and a questionable tackle there by Lawrence Seboliva. I'm not sure if the ref will have a word with him, but Morocco able to breach the Ugandan line. Great interplay in the middle of the field by Morocco, enabling them to cross the choke and notch up their first points of the game. Great kick by the Moroccan, unfortunately not able to pull it in.
Well, a referee's called half-time on this game, and I think that Uganda probably a little bit lucky. There's that hit. And,
it wasn't so bad after all.
He probably wasn't.
Yeah, he tried to wrap his hands around. It's just that the momentum took him over. So I guess the referee was right not to penalize him anymore. But good first half by Uganda, taking advantage of 2 attacking opportunities and a turnover ball to make them have a very commanding lead at the half. And at halftime, Uganda is in the lead, 21-5 against Morocco.
When you're hot, is this hot? And you're big, this big. When you're deep, is this deep. And you're busy, this busy. When you live in a place of possibility, when you're driving Africa's growth, you never stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
So half-time score here in Kampala. It is 21 points to 5. Uganda, the unbeaten side. This is their 3rd game. Zimbabwe, the other unbeaten side, who actually I haven't told you the full truth. There's actually one more team that's unbeaten, and that's Madagascar.
Indeed, I think, as you rightly said, they're the dark horses of this tournament. They're in the other group in line with Zimbabwe. I'm really looking forward to that game towards the latter part of today to see who stands out between those two.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with Madagascar. They've looked the part in the tournament so far. So we wait to see in anticipation them taking on Zimbabwe a little bit later. There's a good intercept from Morocco. But the referee has decided that it's gone out into touch. Our touch judge, Rasta Rasavenga. Not so sure he's done too many touch judge operations himself. He finds himself a little bit more relaxed.
It's a testament to the effort that Rugby Africa is making in terms of the quality of this tournament. If the officiating is as quality as Rasta always is, then we'll have a really good tournament. As Uganda again mounts a strong attack versus the Moroccans.
Kickball taken, and trying to see what's the referee called. Line out again, I think.
Morocco very lucky there. If they had let that go through, then Byron Eketayot, who was yellow carded earlier in the game, may have had a clean run to the choke. Morocco looks like they are trying to take advantage of the injured man. They've made 2 changes to their team. Let's see how they react to the 21.5 deficit.
That's good defense from Uganda. They need to build another attack. They've shown that they can do it. They've scored a try and bundled one already. And there's the little overlap that they required. The extra number is sucking in 2 defenders. But now, yes, penalty. I was about to call that. Not releasing the ball in the tackle, Morocco.
A very good tackle there by Solomon Okia. Textbook round the ankles. and then good follow-up by the Ugandan support player to force the turnover. And Uganda now has another chance with the ball in hand, and you know how dangerous they are when they have the ball in hand. Michael Wokorach waltzing over the Moroccan defenders to dot down for the 4th try in the middle of the posts for Uganda.
Yeah, simple try for Michael Wokorach. He's a big lad and very happy to just take it up into contact. And on that occasion, just cutting straight through the Moroccan defence.
Indeed, I think Morocco guilty there of just watching the Ugandan players with the ball in hand. They weren't pressing them. They did not effect any sort of pressure onto the Ugandan line. And once they had a few yards to run with the ball, it's very difficult for you to stop Uganda when they have the ball in hand.
We sort of spoke about that in the first half, stating that the one thing Morocco can't do is just watch Uganda attack them. And sometimes you're going to slip some tackles, but you need to be able to put pressure on the attacking team. That's where the errors come. But on that occasion, Wokorach just having a very simple run-in. Switch from Morocco, and then wide on the near side, but not really making any headway out of their 22. Now, there's a little space. This is the fresh legs for Morocco. And the handoff is good. You should go all the way. That's a great tackle. And fantastic defense from Uganda. It would have been very easy to just let that one go. But Pierce Ogena has chased the man down, and a try-saving tackle.
Brilliant play there by the Moroccan, slicing through the Ugandan defense. Kevin Kerimundu had no strength to keep with the man, but Pius Ogena did not give up on the play. Solid defense, and continuing with the defensive play to deny the man the put down over the line. But Morocco still has a chance to go over the line. They're over the line and have scored that try. But great defense by Uganda, but good effort for Morocco to add their 2nd try of the day.
Well, it's a much better second half from Morocco. Well, the question, the little mistakes they made that has given Uganda the massive lead that they've got. There's an unforced error from Uganda. They're put in, and Morocco capitalizing on that mistake.
Morocco showing some heart, but currently Uganda is in quite a commanding lead with a quite horrible attempt at goal for the extra points. Uganda with an 18-point lead in this second half with about 90 seconds left in this competition.
I think regardless of the outcome of this game, Morocco can take a lot of positives out from their Uganda outing. And like you said, Uganda up until this game hadn't conceded any points. Morocco scored twice against them, and one that should have been a try where he knocked it on over the try line. That there's been a lot of positives in their game, actually.
Absolutely. Every time Morocco has the ball in hand, they are able to put Uganda under some level of pressure. So it would be interesting to see when another team that has a lot more confidence does attack the Ugandan defense, what's going to happen. And there he goes. Philip Wokorach stepping and fending and hop, skip and dancing to the try line. What a fantastic try by Uganda. Joseph Aredo gets the credit. However, all the effort was done by Philip Wokorach.
Again, probably, I mean, it take nothing away from his ability and how easy he makes it look, but look at how much time he had with the ball in hand. Morocco just allowing him to run. He beats 3 defenders with a fantastic step. And maybe it's easy sitting in the commentary box judging Morocco on their defense, but you'd like to think that maybe a little bit more aggressive, in-your-face defense from the opposition would put Uganda under a bit more pressure.
Indeed. The defense of Morocco is guilty of allowing the play to come to them, and when, as we rightly said, great restart, but unfortunately for Joseph Aredo, unable to offload the ball, and Morocco has a chance again to test the Ugandan defense. Solomon Okia being a bit over-eager and allowing for that penalty to be conceded. This is the final play, Dirk, and will Morocco just put something together to give them some confidence for the rest of the tournament?
It's potentially going to go one of two ways. They're going to throw the ball around, and we've seen it before where Uganda have capitalized on mistakes. But nice to see that they're playing on and really looking for the team to put the final play of this game together. Now he's under pressure. He's going to have to be careful. He's still going. Where's the support for Morocco? He's put shorter numbers on the near side, so he'll have to change direction again. Uganda would not be happy with this, the fact that they've won the game and now they've just been forced to waste energy. Back, says the referee. There's that mistake we spoke about, and I can guarantee you that no one's going to chase the Ugandans down, and Solomon Saolo Okio will get in for another try for Uganda.
Indeed, Uganda are deserved winners of this game with Solomon Okia dotting down after a Moroccan mistake. Morocco made good effort, however, I think just energy levels were too far down. Joseph Aredo kicking the ball through with Okia able to gather the ball and knock it off. Good game by Uganda. They've knocked off two of the bigger teams in their group. They've got Tunisia left to attend to. So let's see how they play out with a brilliant kick from Philip Okorach to conclude the proceedings.
Well, it's clinical from Uganda. Yes, you can question some of the mistakes they made, but to be brutally honest, very convincing from the Cranes. Okorach, outstanding again. He's key in this team, and take nothing away from the rest of the Ugandans. But very convincing from the home nation, beating Morocco 42 points to 10.
Stop moving forward. Standard Bank, moving forward.
Zambia versus Ghana is our next encounter here at the Legends Sports Ground in Kampala. That is the Rugby Africa Men's Sevens. Ghana, an unknown quantity to many here at the tournament. They've shown little glimpses of some real ability. And they're up against a much anticipated, expected of Zambian side, Chipolo Polo from Zambia. They would have done better. They've won 2 games. They lost heavily to Uganda. And this is a key game for them, an opportunity for them to finish second in their pool if they can get over Ghana.
Just having a discussion with the Ghanaian coach. He's obviously targeted this game as a key game in terms of what they're looking forward to going in this group. As you can see the teams here. Kulumba, one of the deadly runners. It's going to be an interesting game because I think these two sides are really matched up. It's going to be interesting which team is going to, bear more mistakes.
Ghana, they claim the ball back on the kickoff, and the referee has called that someone stepped into touch. So it will be a Zambian throw into the line out. They get away with that one. And referee says, no, we're not happy with that quick throw in.
Yeah, Dirk, I think like we spoke about earlier on, I think it's going to be really difficult for the Zambian team to lift themselves up, because I think they've taken a bit of a knock at this tournament. You know, just barely making 2 games and that other defeat against the favorites. They're going to have to lift their spirits and look for an impressive performance here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I suppose, I mean, their coach, he seems to be well weathered in sevens rugby, that you'd be able to lift the side. He's done it before, and he's instilled some good ability in them. That looks like that's good night, Nurse. A knockout. The last man you want to run into is Nigel Chibwe.
Yeah, because that just ends up being the last ride. The bus is a bus stop if you decide to take a spot tackle on him. Bang. It's a real hard hit. Hard hit to the head there.
He's an absolute man mountain, Nigel Chibwe. We don't know much about him. I've never spoken to him, but well, from what we have heard, an absolute gentle giant.
Yeah. And it's also good that a 40-year-old is still out and about running at a tournament that is as crucial as this. Let's just hope that everything is okay, because player safety is quite important.
Yeah, and you're concerned for his neck. It looked like he hit him right in the chest with his head, and never good. Sometimes it also looks worse, because obviously the medical staff are going to do their best to avoid any injury. So for us sitting here who don't know what's going on, is they're going to take a huge amount of precautions to ensure that he's okay.
Yeah. And it's been exciting day one tournament in terms of the crucial positions that are up for grabs at this tournament.
Yeah, nice to see a bit of the local crowd coming in as well. Obviously, the local support here in Uganda. But we hope that over the weekend, 55 years of independence, Uganda will be celebrating tomorrow or Sunday, and then the public holiday on Monday. Yeah. So normal sort of Friday afternoon, lock the office up nice and early, get down to Legends and go and enjoy a few beverages and some rugby. Can't be better than that.
I think that's one of the spectators, you know, we would encourage them to come around, just close the office early and come and enjoy some wonderful rugby, because the crowd has been right behind that local side and they have impressed, you know, just thinking about it, that you get 2 chances, 2 opponents, 2 teams that are going to go to the World Cup, you know, from this tournament. I think that's an excellent opportunity.
Well, you know, you look at 15s rugby, the chances of African teams, bar your South Africa and Namibia has attended, and there have been others, Zimbabwe have, Ivory Coast, of playing in a 15s World Cup. You yourself played in that. But sevens rugby, you're looking at World Cups, World Circuits, Olympics, Commonwealth Games. I mean, there's a great opportunity now for lesser countries, and we've seen, we're talking about the ability of Madagascar. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Who would have thought that? And I think that's why the game of sevens is so crucial to the development of African rugby.
Well, there's some of the results that we've seen so far in Pool A. Ghana and Tunisia opened up the day's play at 19 apiece. Uganda have been clinical. Ghana, we may be a little bit disappointed. They were unknown quantity, but played really well in some of their games and made a couple of mistakes. This is a big one, because between Zambia and Ghana is who's going to finish second in this log. Pool B has been probably a little bit too easy for Zimbabwe, to be honest. They haven't really been tested, and not so sure about the game plan that they've been using, Kenny. We've been discussing this, taking the ball back. But have a look at the Madagascar results. 40-10 over Mauritius, 24-7 over Botswana. And Zimbabwe have to play Madagascar. That's going to be maybe the wake-up call that they need.
Well, unless they are obviously playing with a poker face and going to make sure that they crack it on in that game. It's going to be interesting, because I think Madagascar have obviously gained some confidence from these victories. And you never know, sevens is a funny game. 2 drop balls That's 2 tries and you could be losing a game.
Well, back the action in case you missed it. Nigel Chibwe caught a Ugandan head on, or rather a Ghanaian head on, and he's been stretchered off. It looks like he's okay because he was moving his arms, and we hope that he's all right. But now Zambia, a chance to clear their lines and get out of their own 22. There's the big man.
It's a great ploy in them using Ibwe in the 5 just to get width, and then they've got the whole field to use to spread the ball. But the ref just deemed them to knock it on slightly. And here's a chance, after obviously replacing the injured player, Ghana going to look to strike. And they do have some interesting runners. You know, like we said, speaking to the coach, he believes that there's huge potential in this team.
Well, maybe an opportunity to see those runners. About the 22 of Zambia, Ghana on the attack. He decides to go himself. And they're probably lucky that he lost his footing because Zambia's defense was nowhere. And now a little bit of space on the outside, but the Ghanaians seem to have brought their ice skates with, as everyone seems to be going to the floor. Now through the hands, and he decides to go himself. He's drawn in 3 defenders, so there should be an overlap somewhere. Oh, that's a great little move from Ghana. Still going, pressure still on Zambia. They're gonna have to try and do something with this. That should be held up. He's trying to go to ground, and the referee, yeah, there's the whistle.
Yeah.
Lots of pressure off the back of the scrum. Now Ghana just sort of fumbled that a little bit. They had the upper hand, and then the turnover giving Zambia possession back. And they keep getting out of jail, do Zambia.